Hello and welcome to the third Law and Constitution dialogue presented by Legally Speaking of the ITV network. I am Joyita Basu, editor of the Sunday Guardian. Today I have a very special guest with me, S.Y. Quraishi, who is a former Chief Election Commissioner. Welcome to the show, Mr. Quraishi. Now, you see, I think we are going to discuss a little bit about, this charges that are coming against the election commission and the election process as well from the opposition. In particular, okay, maybe the debate has shifted from EVM. Now there is talk about electoral malpractice. What do you think the election commission can do to stop this debate? And also, do you think there is an erosion in trust in the electoral process in any way?
It's true that election commission has come increasingly under question and scrutiny. At the same time, election commission has chosen to keep silent most of the time, which I think is not a good idea. Because if they come and explain to people, suppose there is discrepancy of figures, EVM, missing EVMs, and whatever be the issue, I think election commission should be more vocal, more visible. Keeping quiet is not the option. It is not. And if they feel that coming on TV and media too often will indicate that they are conscious of publicity, which is not true. They're not interested in the individuals. The nation is interested in the institution of the election commission. They want to hear the CEC for their confidence that the things are all right. So I've been mentioning in my various conversations and even personal conversation with them that they should be more vocal, come out with a press conference, dispel all doubts. And I have no doubt that 90% of the doubts will disappear once these things are explained to the people. My fear is that while the political parties, opposition parties have been going to the court, Supreme Court, 23 parties, while political parties can be persuaded more easily, if the impression percolates down the minds of the people, their faith is extremely important, and restoring that faith will become increasingly difficult. So they should not lose any time.
But at the same time, don't you think when it comes to the opposition in particular, we often see when they win, they're fine. It's only when they lose that they start this debate on electoral malpractice.
Yeah,
Isn't that a fact?
that's exactly what we have felt because ever since the EVMs were introduced in 1982, they have been subjected to criticism. They have even been subject of litigation. And every party, I repeat, every party has questioned the machines at some point or the other. And as you said, once they win, they keep quiet. But they say that this is natural. If they win, why will they protest? Only when they lose, they start raising issues. So, but at the same time, there should be honesty, intellectual honesty, because we have seen repeatedly that EVM cannot be tampered with. There are checks and checks and checks. But as I said, that election commission should call the parties again and show it to them, because incumbents keep on changing. To say that 5 years ago and 7 years ago we had explained, so doesn't matter. Have you heard of Coca-Cola? Everybody has heard of Coca-Cola, but they still have $2 billion budget because they want to be in your mind all the time. Similarly, even if you have to repeat your press conference every few months, why not?
So, would you say, this debate about or this argument that the election commission is now influenced, motivated politically when the opposition is making that charge? Is this the first time this is happening? Because isn't it a fact that earlier governments also, when it came to the particular ruling party, couldn't that same charge have been made about the earlier election commission composition as well?
Yes, this charge was made earlier only once, as far as I know, in the time of Mr. Naveen Chawla, who was my contemporary. The questions were raised about his being associated with a political party. And 205 MPs gave a petition, and the then Chief Election Commissioner wrote to the President, and nothing came out of it. So, but in the last 10 years, the fact that two election commissioners came in for a lot of public notice, and they were almost hounded out of the commission. So that is serious enough. We cannot brush it under the carpet, because something happened which made them leave in a half. Or were they hounded or they left in a half? Why did they leave in a half? They would have both become chief election commissioners. It is not something to be ignored.
My last question to you, sir, is that if you were the chief election commissioner today, what would you have done to cleanse the system, if I can use the word, or more streamline the system?
Well, I would have been more accessible to the political parties, particularly opposition parties.
Okay.
Even in my time then, my policy was because government has all the power. It is the underdog. The opposition is the underdog. You have to give more time to them, listen to their grievances, make them feel heard and wanted. So therefore, I would have had more interaction with them, listen to their grievances, and try to address as many as I could. Or, in fact, I would like to mention and end on that when the EVM controversy was at its peak, and the party which was opposing it was the BJP. They even wrote a book, Democracy at Risk. That is the time when I took over. I immediately called a meeting of all political parties to know. And it was led by Chandrababu Naidu. He said, we are not saying that EVMs have manipulated the results or will do in the future. All we want is transparency. I said, how would you want that transparency? By introducing VVPAT, voter verifiable paper audit trail. Believe me, the decision was taken in the same meeting. Immediately, we wrote to the two companies to start developing VVPAT. We found a solution when we discussed the issue.
So be more accessible to the opposition in particular, because they are, after all, the underdog. That is the suggestion of Mr. S.Y. Quraishi, former Chief Election Commissioner. Thank you, sir, for coming on this podcast.
Thank you, sir.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.